Welcome back to Let's Play some .hack GU. We've saved Moontree, but Sakaki is on the run. Yada's given us some information so we know where we're headed next. Before that, though, we have yet another email. From Matsu. Matsu, then, so he's doing alright. A lot of people were wondering why I didn't do any Crimson Verses last time. So let's do some Crimson Verses.
Crimson Versus!
Now, I haven't done any in a little while because, really, there's not much more to do. But now that we've gotten a low enough rank, or not, supposedly right around the time you get rank 85 or so, you get a new card. And I don't believe I have it yet. Is it that one? I think it's that one. I don't remember. Well, regardless, I'm just gonna let this one keep hammering away. I'll get some when I get some new cards, I can tweak these decks.
Hey, Aseo!
Matsu, looks like you're doing well.
One of my best traits is not worrying about things. I heard that Moontree's headquarters area was sealed off. Lots of members have left the guild or will leave soon. After getting caught up in an incident like that. A lot of them quit the world entirely. People's bonds are so fragile when it comes to the net, know what I mean? The Seven Council has basically been disbanded. I hear that Kaeda is still sticking with Lord Zelkova, though. I wonder what Lord Zelkova plans to do with Moontree. Well, I don't really get the complicated parts. But I've decided to keep going with my training and keep my skills up, just in case it turns out I need them someday. So, I hope you'll invite me sometime. Later!
And we've even got Matsu's member address now. Matsu's a bro. Well, regardless, we need to head to Makanu to go to Raven.
Yada's calling me. Let's head for Raven's Serpent of Lore.
He's got some information for us. We're not sure where Sakaki's run off to, but he certainly needs to pay for what he's done. We haven't been here in a while now, but off to Raven.
So which area did Sakaki run off to?
According to the Serpent of Lore's search, Sakaki has apparently headed in the direction of Theta thinking innocent life.
Let's hurry.
Wait. We do not know what to expect there. It may not be wise for everyone to go.
Then I and...
Pai, you should accompany him as a negotiator.
Yes, Master Yada.
Negotiator?
That's right. We will need to find out more from Sakaki. Using Ida for mind control, and for controlling reality from online, is a rather large and complex plan for Sakaki to make by himself.
Please let me go too. I want to talk to Sakaki.
No way! It's too dangerous!
Even so, I have to make certain. Right now, I have no idea if the Sakaki who did terrible things to Moon Tree, or the Sakaki who was always so kind to me and so gentle, is the real Sakaki. It's true that if I talk to him, I may feel even worse about things that I do right now. But even so, I want to find out. I want to know who the real Sakaki is.
Young lady, I understand how you feel, but...
Okay, let's go, Adelie.
Haseo!
If Adelie takes her eyes off Sakaki now, she won't be able to move on. After all, this is also Adelie's problem.
Haseo.
Very well then. Haseo, Atali, and Pai will kindly leave now and head for Theta thinking innocent life.
All right. Once everyone's ready, we'll meet at the Chaos Gate. Got it?
Got it. Let's move.
We've got our goal. Can I log out in here? It'd probably be faster to get back to the Chaos Gate if I just log out. Log out, log back in.
I'll invite Pai and Adelie to come along, and head for Theta thinking innocent life.
Okay, so we are grabbing Pai and Adelie. And where we're going is Thinking Innocent Life. You'll actually notice we haven't seen a dungeon type like this before. This is the first time, story-wise, this is the first time this dungeon appears in the game. The only other way to have seen this is to have made your own area.
Watch out. This area is showing signs of a tremendous Ida signal.
So, we can expect more than just everyday enemies and traps, huh?
Much like before, the end of this area is sealed off, so you have to defeat every enemy. This dungeon type, however, is very linear, so you actually don't have much to worry about in that regard. This dungeon type is also filled to the brim with traps. Now, the reason they make you fight the enemies is because all the enemies will be in the center of a room like this. And technically, you can sneak around them and never have to fight them. Not the one I wanted to target. Do I have the ready weapon? Yeah, I do. Most enemies around this level are weak to the broadsword, so you'll probably be using me, or probably be seeing me use this broken sword a lot. Now that said, I did actually have something that I wanted to talk to everybody about. You see, what I wanted to do was detail the events. Detail the events that happened before GU, but after the original quadrilogy. Now, every area you can get Chim Spheres a little differently. This one is a little unique. And let me explain this here before I actually get to talking what I want to talk about. Getting past these traps without getting hit can be a little tricky if you don't pay attention. The blades move completely randomly. It's completely random. You can't watch for a pattern. So there's two things you can do. One, you can wait for one that moves across slowly, like that one. That's generally a good chance for you to get across. Similarly, wait for 3 in a row to fly by. If you see 3 in a row fly by, they will always pause before a 4th one. So let's see here. 1, pause, 1, 2, pause, 1, pause, 1, 2, 3, run. Now here, if you squeeze over near this edge, it's easier to wait. 1, real slow, there we go. Now if you get hit by these, you do take damage. And I've actually avoided most of the traps in any other existing dungeons, but there have been trap rooms in most dungeons, actually. So the idea of traps and things that can hurt you outside of battle is not new, but this dungeon handles them in a slightly different way. I've also done a number of dungeons off-screen, so I've got a lot of Adler keys. I've got 21. I think we need 15 for the next one. Now here... Yep. Hear the sound? Wait. You can try running up to dodge them if you really want to, but I think it's easier just to leave the room and wait for them all to pass. They will not leave the hallway. Now, I said most enemies are weak to the broadsword, but not all of them. These little things are not. But I'm going to be focusing on the big guy first, because he's easily the most annoying. And he goes down really quick with the broadsword. Now that said, I wanted to detail the events between the original quadrilogy and GU. Now I've spoken on this before, but not quite to the detail that I want to mention here. This here is technically all information that was revealed in End of the World. It's called, what's it called? It's a specific disc that I think came with very special versions of GU. I don't think many English versions got it, though. Personally, I don't have it. Now, breaking this will get you Chim Chims, but we don't really need them. And you see, after the original quadrilogy, you saw at the very end of it, Aura became like a god. She replaced Morgana as the god of the world. And it was then because of this that Aura, again, she functioned like a god. But all of the world had connected itself not just to the game itself, but to the entire net. So Aura, she essentially functioned like the best debugger the world had ever seen on everything, game and internet related. As long as the world was functioning and Aura was in charge, the entire net ran at an exceptionally fast pace. Everything ironed itself out and ran without concern. However, as time went on, Aura grew to be a little more personal. You see, she was a living being. She had a personality. And she would start to do things, and she would start to experiment with things. She'd start to, say, fool around a little bit. One thing she actually did happened in Legend of Twilight, where she created copies of Kite and Black Rose's character and gave them to other players, Shugo and Reina, to see what kind of impact this would have on the world. Now, as time went on, she continued to experiment. She continued to do things. However, eventually, she simply disappeared. With Aura no longer running the world, the net started to falter. They needed Aura back. They needed her back for the internet to function and for the Golden Age to return. However, unable to get a hold of Aura, they had to do what else they could do. You see, they realized that Mia was still roaming about and still existed within the world. This was essentially a phase held within a physical character. So they thought, perhaps, if they did this with all the remaining fragments of Morgana, they could gain control of what essentially Morgana was, and regain control of the world. However, they would be doing this through characters, and have direct control over the world themselves. Lofty goals to become gods of the world themselves. However, the person that was put in charge of this whole project to do this was deemed Project GU. And the man put in charge of this went by the name June. He, as well as a programmer by the name of Gyotaro, I guess, got to work on this. However, Gyotaro had much more ambitious goals, a little more selfish goals, but he was an absolutely genius programmer.
Of course we won.
So together they worked to single out and find the remaining fragments of Morgana, the remaining epitaphs. Now, what these did, they went and found them. Oh crap, I'm getting out of there with the assassin gems, not standing next to 100 blades with assassin gems. They found the remaining ones, they isolated them, and to do so, this means they had to destroy Mia. And as we've seen, Elk didn't exactly take that kindly. Spikes. However, with all of these, June did some experiments. And he theorized that with Kite. As Kite grew in power, his bracelet was essentially the power of Morgana given to him by Aura. And as Kite grew in power, as the bracelet grew in power, so too did the bracelet's anti-existence. The anti-existence was brought into existence and grew in power. June theorized that in making these fragments of Morgana, putting these epitaphs into players, that they're essentially recreating a power that is Morgana. And in doing this, the anti-existence may reform. He feared this, did some experiments, and found that yes, it was being reformed. He quickly told Gyotaro about this, and Gyotaro brushed it off, saying that such a thing couldn't happen, and that it was just getting in the way of his plans to become a god of the world. June, knowing what dangers could come about, took one of the epitaphs. He stored it away onto a private hard drive and kept it under his own supervision, hoping to delay the project until more tests could be done. Gyotaro, however, had planned for this. He created a dummy Morgana factor, a dummy epitaph to use, trying to replicate the power of Morgana himself, not even using that which was stored in Harold's black box. He conducted the test anyway. He started the project down one Morgana factor. Of course, he had to bring in people who could potentially link themselves up to these epitaphs. The test was started. The world disapproved. 80% of the world's data was destroyed. And everyone that was tied up to these Morgana factors, was put into a coma. And I ran like an idiot right through that one. We're actually very nearing the end of this dungeon. It's only about 2.5 floors tall. So, when this happened, June knew it was going to happen, and he rushed to CC Corp's headquarters as fast as possible. It was here that he managed to first save one of the epitaphs, Magus. All the other ones fled into the world. Who knows where they ended up? Gyotaro, driven by some form of madness, set fire to the CC Corp building. So now, not only was 80% of the world destroyed, or lost, but the CC Corp building went up in flames, destroying most all of the data that Project GU had gathered. The world was destroyed. And CC Corp, in some attempt to save it, combined the world with another game they were working on, making the world R2, and in doing this, they also included Harold's black box in some vain attempt to bring about the golden age of the world.